6 signs you're aging. Too fast men over 70 must watch. You're not in pain. You're not sick. But one day, you look in the mirror and you're not sure if that person is still you. Maybe it's a strange body odor you've never had before. Maybe your belly seems bigger even though you're eating the same. Or maybe it's your voice. It sounds lower, raspier, weaker, like it belongs to someone else. This isn't just getting older. This is your body speaking to you. And if you don't listen in time, you could miss the chance to hold on to your health, your independence, and the presence you deserve. Here's the truth. After 70, a man's body doesn't fall apart overnight. It changes in subtle ways. You might not notice it yesterday, but one morning you catch a glimpse in the mirror and think, when did I start looking like this? In this video, I, your peer, a 75-year-old man, want to walk you through 6 quiet but clear signs that your true age is starting to show. In your body, in your voice, in the way you walk. And more importantly, there are ways to slow it down, ways to take back control. You just have to notice it early, and today is the perfect time to start. Stay with me. The next 5 minutes might help you understand yourself more deeply than the past 5 years have. If you still want to walk to the store by yourself, hold your grandson's hand at the park, or simply stay in charge of your life, this next part is for you. Let's begin. Right now. 1. Your body has a smell. You don't notice, but others do. Did you know there's a subtle scent that starts to appear after age 70? Not everyone can smell it, except younger people. And the less you notice it, the more it might be the very first sign that your body is aging, even if you still feel strong, eat well, and take good care of yourself. I didn't believe it at first either, until one day my granddaughter gave me a hug and suddenly said, "Grandpa, you smell like my old school library." Her words made me freeze. I wasn't upset, but I was struck. I'd always taken pride in staying clean, but clearly something inside me was changing, and I was the last one to know. According to Japanese researchers, after age 60, the male body begins producing a compound called 2-non-enol, a byproduct of fat oxidation on the skin. It's a natural part of aging, not dangerous, but it can quietly affect your confidence and how people feel when they're near you. The tricky part, older people often can't smell it themselves. It's like the body becomes used to it and tunes it out. I tried to ignore it. I used stronger colognes, heavier deodorants, but that only made it worse, because I wasn't solving the real problem. Eventually, I dug into medical articles, talked to dermatologists, and tried a few small changes that surprisingly worked. I swapped my regular soap for one made with charcoal or green tea extract. I started adding a little baking soda to my laundry, and I began eating more antioxidant-rich foods, grapefruit, almonds, leafy greens. None of it was hard. The real problem was, I didn't know I needed to do any of it. And here's what I've come to realize. Sometimes your body doesn't speak through pain. It speaks through something much quieter, like a faint scent in the air. And if you're wise enough to pay attention, you might just change the course of your aging journey. If you've ever noticed a new smell on your body, or someone said something that made you pause, share your story in the comments. I read every one, because I believe your honest story might help someone out there feel less alone. Growing older isn't something to fear, not if we understand it together and walk through it, side by side. 2. your belly keeps growing, even though the scale doesn't budge. Have you noticed? Your old pants still fit, but the waistband feels tighter every day. You look in the mirror, you don't seem heavier, but your belly is expanding while your arms and legs are thinning like twigs. It may sound odd, but it's not. This is one of the most subtle but most important warning signs for men after 70. And sadly, it's often ignored. I have a friend named Frank, 76 tall and slim, always ate reasonably no alcohol, no sweets. But lately, he told me, I don't get it. My belly feels like someone stuffed a pillow in there. But my arms are shrinking and my chest is caving in. The moment I heard it, I knew exactly what was happening. This is a common condition among older men called sarcopenic obesity. It means losing muscle while gaining fat, especially visceral fat around the belly. After age 60, our bodies produce less testosterone and become more insulin resistant. What does that mean? Even if you eat the same, your body burns 300 to 500 fewer calories a day. And muscle, your body's biggest calorie burner, starts to disappear. In its place, fat begins to pile up, right around your midsection, even if the scale doesn't move. But this isn't just about losing your shape. Belly fat produces inflammatory chemicals that can quietly damage your heart, liver, kidneys, and even your memory. A study from Mayo Clinic found that men over 70 with larger waistlines are twice as likely to develop dementia than those who keep a leaner waist. I'm not telling you this to scare you, but to remind you you can turn it around. Frank started doing resistance exercises twice a week, just lifting water bottles or doing chair-assisted squats. He also added more protein to his breakfast, swapped white toast for boiled eggs and a few almonds. 3 months later, he smiled and said, "My pants button up again, and I can climb stairs without needing to rest." Aging doesn't have to mean a growing belly. It's your body's quiet way of saying it needs a different kind of care, a new strategy for a new chapter of life. If you've ever asked yourself, am I gaining weight? Or is my body trying to tell me something? Maybe this is the moment to stop and listen. Feel free to share your experience in the comments, because your small story could be the big encouragement someone else needs today. 3. Your ears keep growing. While your confidence shrinks, have you ever looked at an old photo and suddenly thought, wait, were my ears always this big? No one says it out loud, but you know something on your face has changed. It's not as obvious as gray hair or wrinkles, but it's enough to make you feel unfamiliar with your own reflection. George, a longtime friend of mine, 78, has always been a sharp dresser. Neatly combed hair, polished shoes, ironed shirts. But one day, while looking at his wedding photo, he paused. My ears back then, they were neat. Now they stretch all the way down my cheeks. And he was right. His ears, like many men's after 70, had grown longer, wider, and droopier. It's not just in your head. According to ENT specialists, ear cartilage is one of the few tissues that continues growing for life. As your skin loses elasticity, the cartilage stretches, especially in men. That's why, even as we shrink in height, our ears and sometimes even our noses can start to look bigger. Some people don't mind, but for others it chips away at their confidence, especially when wearing glasses, masks, or taking photos with family. George once told me he avoided pictures more often. I just don't like seeing myself looking so off, he said. So is there anything you can do? You may not be able to stop it completely, but you can slow it down and maintain a balanced look. Apply vitamin E cream on your ears daily. Avoid prolonged sun exposure. UV light breaks down collagen. Eat foods that strengthen connective tissue, collagen peptides, salmon, leafy greens. And one simple habit: switch to lightweight glasses to avoid daily tugging on your ears. But the most important thing, don't let this change push you into hiding. Yes, your ears may be longer, but your eyes, your voice, your wisdom, those are what your family sees as beautiful, and those never grow old. If you've ever felt different looking in the mirror, or had a moment that reminded you of these subtle changes, share your thoughts below. It's not just your story. It's the story of many men quietly wondering the same thing, hoping they're not alone. For your calf muscles are disappearing, and so is your stability below the knees. If one day you find yourself climbing stairs slower, needing to grab a railing just to stand up, or struggling to keep your balance when the lights are off at night, take a look at your calves. What you think is just getting old might actually be your legs, trying to warn you loud and clear. I used to be an active guy. Morning walks, the occasional uphill hike, even weekend golf. But then I started noticing something strange. My calves were shrinking. No pain, no soreness, just less. They didn't look full or strong like before. Every time I wore shorts, I'd look down and feel like those weren't even my legs. They looked smaller, weaker, and somehow less grounded. This is age-related calf muscle atrophy, and it's especially common in men over 70. As testosterone levels drop and daily movement no longer stimulates muscle, the way it used to, the calf muscles, which are responsible for balance and stable walking, start to fade. The result? You trip more easily, you fall more often, and everyday tasks like showering, getting in or out of a car, or walking the dog start to feel uncertain. A Harvard study found that older men with weak leg strength after 70 are 3 times more likely to fall. And every fall at this age can be a major turning point in your health. The good news: muscles, unlike age, can come back. You don't need a gym. Simple exercises at home can help. Try standing on your toes 15 times every morning. Calf raises. Walk up a slight incline instead of flat paths. Or just practice balancing on one foot for 30 seconds each day. I gave it a try, and after a few weeks, not only did my calves look fuller, I could feel the strength returning in every step. No one else noticed it like I did, but that sense of control over my legs made me feel truly alive again. If you've ever taken a fall that scared you, or even just noticed your legs don't feel the way they used to, don't be shy. Share your story. Because what you call getting weaker might just be your legs gently reminding you it's time to stand firm again in every sense of the word. 5. Your voice isn't the same anymore. And it's telling you something important. Your throat doesn't hurt. You're not sick. But somehow, your voice sounds softer, more fragile, like it's slowly fading away. One day you call out to your granddaughter from the living room, and she doesn't hear you. You think maybe she wasn't paying attention. But it happens again. And then your wife says, "You're speaking too softly, I can't hear you." That's when it hits you: your voice isn't what it used to be. I still remember the first time I heard a recording of myself answering an automated call. I barely recognized the voice. It didn't have the clear, deep tone I used to have back when I was teaching. Now it sounded hoarse, thin, and would just vanish after a few sentences. I figured I was tired, maybe had a little cold. But then a doctor friend told me that's one of the signs of age-related changes in the vocal cords, very common after 70. As we get older, the muscles that control our vocal cords weaken, the lining of the larynx thins out, and our ability to manage airflow drops. The result? A voice that's softer, breathier, sometimes shaky or raspy. Many call it an old person's voice. But here's what most people don't know. Your voice is actually a clue to your overall health, especially respiratory and neurological strength. A Mayo Clinic study showed that sudden or unusual voice changes after 70 can be an early sign of motor nerve decline linked to breathing issues, swallowing problems, and even choking while eating. The problem is, we don't talk about it because we think, well, I'm old now, but that silence means many people miss the chance to bounce back. Here's what helped me. Every morning I practice saying A-E-I-O-U out loud, one letter at a time. I blow bubbles in a cup of water through a straw to strengthen my breath control. And I take deep belly breaths while sitting. It only takes 5 minutes a day. But after a month, I noticed my voice felt stronger. And to my surprise, I felt more confident speaking again. If you've ever felt like your voice is fading, or find yourself repeating things more than usual, leave a comment. Not to complain, but to remind each other. Your voice isn't just a sound. It's proof that you're still connected to the world and to yourself. 6. Why you nod off in the afternoon. But wake up at 3 a.m. You doze off in the late afternoon, only to find yourself wide awake at 3 in the morning, tossing and turning, unable to fall back asleep. Don't brush it off as normal aging. This might be your brain quietly sounding the alarm. It happened to me too. Every afternoon my eyelids would grow heavy. Just 10 minutes, I'd tell myself. But I'd wake up at 7 p.m., groggy and disoriented, eat a late dinner, and then lie wide awake at 3 a.m., restless, like a child who lost their bedtime rhythm. My body seemed to lose all sense of day and night. I felt more tired, sluggish, and unfocused, even though I was technically sleeping more. Here's the truth: after age 65, our bodies produce less melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep, and we also become less responsive to natural daylight. Add in more time indoors, less physical activity, and increased screen time at night, and your brain's internal clock starts to shift out of sync. The result? Chronic sleep disruption. A Harvard study found that irregular, fragmented sleep patterns in older adults aren't just tiring, they're also linked to memory decline, mood disorders, and even an increased risk of type 2 diabetes. I began making a few small changes. Each morning, I'd step outside for 15 minutes to soak up early sunlight and breathe fresh air. I stopped drinking coffee after 2 p.m., and most importantly, I stopped napping for more than 30 minutes. Instead, I spent my afternoons doing light activities, listening to music, taking slow walks, gardening, so my brain understood the day isn't over yet. Within a week, I slept more soundly. After 2 weeks, I no longer woke up at 3 a.m. If you've been struggling with poor sleep or feel more drained even when you're resting more, share your current sleep habits in the comments below. You might find someone with the same experience or a tip that could change your nights. Because sleep isn't just about resting your body, it's how your mind heals itself each night. And after 70, that kind of healing is more precious than ever. Final words. When we're younger, we often picture aging as something loud and obvious, gray hair, a hunched back illness. But after turning 70, I realized something. Your body doesn't knock on the door to announce it's aging. It just shifts, quietly, like a river that slowly changes course. You don't see it happen in a day or a week, but one morning you'll look in the mirror and feel different. A faint scent that wasn't there before. A waistband that fits tighter. A step that feels less steady. A voice that no longer echoes the way it used to. An ear that makes you pause when you see your reflection. Or a restless night following an afternoon nap. Individually, these signs might seem easy to overlook, but when they show up together, they're telling you a deeper story that aging isn't just a stage, it's a journey, one that needs attention and care. I'm not sharing these things to scare you, but to remind you every change has a reason. And the beautiful truth is, you still get to choose how to respond. We can't turn back time, but we can adjust our direction. Like a rower in a river, you may not be able to fight the current, but you can decide not to let yourself be swept away. You can choose to move your body for 10 minutes each morning. You can choose a grapefruit instead of a slice of cake. You can choose to go to bed 30 minutes earlier to give your body time to fully recover. These are small choices, but they're the ones that shape how you'll live the years beyond 70. And above all, please remember this. Growing older doesn't mean fading away. Growing older can be your most radiant chapter if you know how to listen to yourself.